Today, we're diving headfirst into the radical evolution of the world's power grid. We're going to take a journey from what honestly sounds like a sci-fi utopia straight into the tangible, real-world engineering that is making it happen right now. If you've ever just absent-mindedly flipped a light switch and taken that instant power completely for granted, well, you're going to want to pay close attention to this.
Picture this for a second. You wake up in a world where power outages are just gone, completely non-existent. There's no more resetting the microwave clock, no more throwing out spoiled milk from a warm fridge, and absolutely no scrambling in the dark for a flashlight during a storm. Just complete, rock-solid reliability.
Now add to that a world where your electric car charges in mere minutes before you head out the door for work. That whole anxiety of a dying battery on a long road trip, it's completely erased from our collective memory. Gone.
And honestly, most importantly, imagine entire massive cities running at full throttle without polluting the planet. No smog, no emissions. And look, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky pipe dream. Based on our source material today, this is a highly realistic blueprint for exactly how the world could be powered by 2050.
So how exactly do we get there? Let's kick things off by looking at the renewable shift.
To reach that futuristic utopia, we absolutely have to transition our aging grid. For well over a century, modern civilization was built on a very specific foundation, burning coal, oil, and natural gas. Now, those fuels undeniably built the modern world we live in, but they also produce the climate-altering greenhouse gases we're actively dealing with today. Because of this, the world is shifting, and shifting aggressively to renewables. Solar panels and wind turbines are getting cheaper and vastly more efficient every single year. In fact, in a lot of places right now, they're already the absolute lowest cost electricity you can find on the market.
But of course, this brings us to a pretty massive elephant in the room, the fatal flaw of renewables. As amazing as solar and wind are, they have one huge challenge. What exactly happens when the sun goes down or the wind just stops blowing? Because our energy demands definitely don't politely pause just because it's a cloudy day out.
And that brings us right to our next piece of the puzzle, next-generation energy storage.
To fix that intermittency problem, the entire energy industry is basically in a massive race to build vastly upgraded energy storage systems. Because make no mistake, the future of renewables entirely depends on this. We're talking about next-generation batteries that can hold immense charges for way longer periods of time. But it's not just batteries. We're also looking into long-duration storage, things like pumped hydro. This is literally where you use gravity, pushing water up a mountain when power is super cheap, and then letting it flow back down through a turbine, right when we need the electricity. Add in hydrogen energy storage, and the goal is brilliantly simple. Capture that clean energy when it's abundant and unleash it exactly when the grid demands it. And this is where it gets really personal, because it completely flips how your own home operates. The buildings of the future won't just blindly consume electricity, you're actually going to actively manage it. Step 1, you generate power right on your roof using solar panels. Step 2, you store it locally in a home battery. And Step 3, an automated AI just seamlessly decides whether to use that power to run your AC, save it for later, or literally sell it back to your interconnected neighborhood smart grid for a profit. How cool is that?
Speaking of AI, let's dive into AI smart grids and electric vehicles.
Right now, we're moving from a dumb, one-way street of electricity to a highly interactive network that's completely driven by artificial intelligence. Instead of just blindly pushing power and passively wasting it, which, by the way, happens constantly on our current grid, AI smart grids will actively manage the entire flow. They're going to predict power demand based on the weather, the time of day, even human behavior. They'll balance the energy supply in real time, and they'll even detect equipment failures early, catching those little problems before they cause a massive neighborhood blackout.
And here is where your electric vehicle becomes a total game changer. Think of your EV as just a giant battery on wheels. In the near future, millions of parked EVs could temporarily store electricity. So when a massive heat wave hits and spikes energy demand, the grid can actually borrow a tiny fraction of power from those millions of cars. It stabilizes the entire energy system. And the best part? You wouldn't even notice a single drop in your driving range.
Okay, let's push the boundaries a bit and look at some sci-fi level energy. We're talking fusion and space solar.
Let's move to the absolute cutting edge. These are technologies that sound completely out of this world, but are actively being built in labs right now. First up is nuclear fusion. We're talking about combining hydrogen atoms to recreate the exact same reaction that powers our sun right here on Earth. Researchers around the globe are making staggering progress on this. If engineers can crack the few remaining hurdles, this is the ultimate silver bullet. It means virtually limitless electricity, zero carbon emissions, and practically no long-lived radioactive waste.
And hey, if building a mini sun isn't wild enough for you, how about space-based solar power? The concept here is brilliantly simple, even if the engineering is totally mind-bending. You collect sunlight up in space, right? Up there are no clouds, no weather, and no nighttime. The sun just shines continuously. Then you literally beam that pure, clean energy straight back down to Earth. It's highly experimental today for sure, but it could become a massively viable source of clean power in the coming decades.
So where does this all lead? Let's talk about powering the future economy.
All of these crazy innovations, the renewables, the massive leaps in storage, AI grids, and that sci-fi tech, they are all converging on a single timeline. By 2050, this hyper-smart, ultra-clean electricity network will be the beating heart of human civilization. And it won't just run our homes. We're talking powering heavy factories, massive cargo ships traversing the oceans, commercial aircraft flying overhead, and, as our source material explicitly notes, it will even power future human colonies on the Moon and Mars. It's huge.
But look, I've got to be real with you. This journey is not going to be a walk in the park. You don't just overhaul the entire planet's lifeblood overnight. This transition requires years of immense, sustained investment. We have to build entirely new infrastructure from the ground up. We have to vastly expand our transmission lines just to carry power from remote, windy plains to the dense cities that actually need it. And we have to continuously fund the breakthroughs required for things like fusion to actually work at scale.
The stakes here are truly global, because electricity is unquestionably becoming the absolute foundation of the entire future economy. And because of that, the nations that step up, invest, and lead this next energy revolution, well, they're the ones who are going to hold the geopolitical reins of the 21st century.
So, think about this. The next time you casually plug your phone into the wall, take a second to really look at that simple outlet. Consider the sheer scale of global engineering and the massive leaps in innovation that are required just to keep that charge flowing flawlessly into your device. Are we ready for what comes next?
Because as our source material perfectly sums it up, despite all the incredible advancements of the past century, the biggest revolution in electricity may still be ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. What do you think? Are you and your city ready to plug into this new future? Keep your eyes on the grid.